to install Windows 11 on an unsupported device. And if you have ever tried this before, you might have run into some errors, you might not have, but I'm going to show you the easy way of how to install Windows 11 in Virtualbox, and we're going to be using a Macintosh computer this time, not a Windows PC. So right here I have the items that you need. If you can see, you're going to need a PC, Mac, or Linux. We're using Mac for this demonstration. You're going to want to get Virtualbox, the latest edition, Virtualbox extension, and the guest editions is actually included within the Virtualbox app. We're going to need that later. And then if you can, please get a clean ISO from the Microsoft website, the multi-edition of Windows 11. If you have an ISO that you've already downloaded, that's great, but if you've copied it from another device to another device or saved it on a flash drive and use it from a flash drive and then try to upload it to your computer, sometimes there's data corruption, because I had that incident happen in my last demonstration. So let's just jump right into it. So I have VirtualBox already installed, so I'm going to just go to my applications. And this one is ready to go. It's already set up, but I'm going to just create a new one from scratch and make it easier that way. So what I'm going to do is delete this one, but use the same virtual disk image, so that way I can save space on my device. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, Machine, then I'm going to go to Remove Only, so that way I can reuse the disk image that's already created. So we're going to start it from scratch. All you do is, once you have it installed, you open up VirtualBox, and then we're going to hit New, and then you're going to create a name. You can choose whatever name you want. I'm going to hit Windows 11, and then by default, because the newer versions of VirtualBox, they already have fixed the patch with Windows 11, and by default it recognizes it. So I'm going to leave the path default. Now you can always change that. Well, let's say you want to put it on another drive, you would change the path here and then choose other. But I'm going to leave the default path, version Windows 11. Oh, folder already exists. Okay, so I'm going to create a I'm going to create it in my documents, create a new folder, and call this Virtual Box VMs. Can't spell today. So I'm going to use that folder. Okay, so I just changed the default path. And then it's a Windows 11 64-bit. Continue. Now the default 4096 is standard, and that's what you want to keep it at for the memory. And then we hit next, and you can use a virtual hard disk, or you can use a virtual disk image. I'm going to use the existing virtual hard disk, but I suggest if you have the space, when you get to this point, choose virtual hard disk, a VHD, as opposed to a virtual disk image, because the virtual hard disk is a lot more stable and will make your Windows perform faster. But I'm going to use the virtual disk image because I don't have that much room that I already created. So I'm going to use existing. So that's going to be add Virtualbox. Now where is it located at? See, there's all those ones already there, so I'm going to use this one right here. Wow, no wonder why I don't have much space. I've created 3 VDIs. One is 175 gigabytes. Oh my god. Let's go back. Hold on a second. Let me just scroll back here. I want to see what each one and how big it is. This one is, okay, that's no good, 3.1. And this one is 1.75. Okay, well, we're going to use that one. So that's a big size. So the default size is 80 gigabytes. But if you plan to use this virtual machine a lot, then you can make it bigger. And I'm going to use this one because it's already there for practical purposes. So I'm going to use the existing. For the people that are watching, you would do create a virtual hard disk now, and then choose the size that you want. And the minimum should be at least 80 gigabytes. So then you hit create. And then it's not that hard. We want to go to the settings. By default, we're just going to go from left to right. So all of that looks good. Windows 11, Microsoft Windows, 64-bit. The system is going to show the base memory at 4096. That's fine. We want to deselect floppy. We leave the chipset as is. We use the extended features as is and make sure that the enable EFI is checked as such. Now this is for Mac. Okay, and then we're going to go to the processor, and because I have 8 CPUs, I'm going to bump it up to, I'm not going to max it out because I might have another application that's labor intensive running, so I'm just going to put it at 3 CPUs. And then this is also very important, you want to enable the PAE, physical address extension /NX. Okay, and then you leave the acceleration default, and the hardware virtualization enables the nested paging, so that's all fine. So now you go to display, and first thing you want to do is go all the way down from video memory to acceleration and tick enable 3D acceleration. And then you want to go all the way up to your video memory and slide that up all the way to 256 MB. Okay, so you're good. We're not doing remote display or recording, so you can explore that if you want to, but right now we're going to go next to the storage, and this is where we are going to select our Windows ISO, and I downloaded a fresh copy because, like I said, I had used a copy that I copied from, I downloaded it from my PC and then I just copied it onto a flash drive and then copied it onto my Mac, and it was corrupted. It would just not work. So I'm going to click on that empty disk icon, then we're going to come over to the SATA port blue icon on the right. We're going to choose a disk file. So I'm just going to make sure that I choose the correct one, and I know that it's in, whoops, I know that it's in downloads because I just downloaded it, so there it is. And last but not least, this is very important when you're first installing this. You want to tick the live CD DVD option under the SATA port. You want to tick that. Okay. Then you go to the audio. The default settings should be already set up for you just fine. Leave it as such. Network is set up to the default. We're not using serial ports. The USB is set up by default. The shared folders set. You can now, okay? So if you want to drag and drop from your Macintosh to your PC computer, you can create a shared folder and mount it. So what I'll do is I'll just do that now, but we're not going to be able to get to that point. It's until after we install Windows and then install the guest editions, and then you'll see how that works. So just to show you, I'm going to go to my desktop. Let me just move that down a little bit. I'm going to right click, File, New Folder. Here it is. I'm going to, whoops, I'm going to rename it Mac PC. Okay. And going to give the properties, I'm going to share. No, I need to go to properties, get info. And then what I'm going to do is under the properties, we're going to make it a shared folder. Turn on the sharing, choose Apple System, click sharing, and then select file sharing. So to enable that, you're going to go to okay. Okay, so now it's a shared folder, and just close that out. And then what I'm going to do is click like this at that little blue icon here over on the right. I'm going to find the path, which is the desktop, and it's going to be Mac PC open. And then what I want to do is auto mount it. Now you can choose to make it read only, but I'm just going to click auto mount for now. And it basically has full disk access, so you can copy and paste from your PC to your Mac, and you can change that full disk access later. I'm just going to hit OK. So that will be for later. Now let's start our virtual machine and see how it operates. Now you want to hit boot from any, whoops, whoopsie. Okay, so there it goes. You have to be kind of quick because I forget that my Macintosh is faster than I am. It's so blazing fast to install Virtualbox on a Mac rather than a PC. It takes so much longer to install Windows on a PC in VirtualBox, okay? So I know the screen is small. I'm going to try to make it bigger. What I'm going to do is just leave it like that. I don't want to scale the window size because I will lose my menu bar. So I'm just going to minimize that. Now, by default, if you go and try, well, let's scale this. Let's adjust the window size. I'm sorry, because that's just too small. We're just going to do scale mode. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have to do scale mode because you need to be able to see this. Okay, so by default, if you just go ahead through the prompts and try to install it, you're going to get to the error, and I'm going to show you now. So we're going to hit next. We're going to hit install now. And just so you know, I'm running Big Sur operating system on a MacBook Pro with this MX chip of type. I don't know the exact chip, but it's a pretty good one. It was a special model. So you don't have a product key, and you want to choose the weapon of your choice. I'm going to go with Windows 11 Pro because I want to now. Sometimes you have problems, but usually it lets you install it. Now it might have a limited period if you don't have an actual physical key, but I've been able to install it fine with no key at all. So I'm going to hit next. And then this is what you're going to see. Now this is the error that everybody gets, and it's very easy to fix, and I'm going to show you now. So it doesn't meet the minimum requirements to install this version. Okay, so how you solve that is we're going to arrow back, get out of that screen, arrow back. Then what we're going to do is close out of that window because we can't arrow back anymore. Sure you want to quit? Yes. Now this is the window that we want. So here is when our commands come in, okay? So for Windows users, you want to hit Shift F10 to get to the terminal. For Mac, it's Command F10, I believe, or Command Shift F10. Oops.